ॐ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। ॐ निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवण त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कंदः मुक्तिरहित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः अथ द्वात्रिंशोऽध्यायः। द्विज उवाच। Let us chant mantra from 48. Om मनोवशेन्येहि अभवन् स्म देवाः मनश्च नान्यस्य वशं समेति भीष्मो हि देवः सहसः हीयान् युञ्जाद्वशे तं स हि देवदेवः तं दुर्जयं शत्रुमसह्य वेगम् अरुन्तुदं तन्न विजित्य केचितो कुर्वन्त्यसद्विग्रहमत्र मर्त्यैः मित्राण्युदासीनरिपून् विमूढाः देहं मनोमात्रमिमं गृहीत्वा ममाहमित्यन्धधियो मनुष्याः एषोऽहमन्योऽयमिति भ्रमेण दुरन्तपारे तमसि भ्रमन्ति जनस्तु हेतुः सुखदुःखयोश्चेत किमात्मनश्चात्र हि भौमयोस्तत जिह्वां क्वचित् संदशति स्वदद्भिः तद्वेदनायां कथमाय कुप्येत दुःखस्य हेतुर्यदि देवतास्तो किमात्मनस्तत्र विकारयोस्तत यदङ्गमङ्गेन निहन्यते क्वचितो क्रुध्येत कस्मै पुरुषः स्वदेहे आत्मा यदि स्यात् सुखदुःखहेतुः किमन्यतस्तत्र निजस्वभावः न ह्यात्मनोऽन्यत यदि तत् मृषा स्यात् क्रुध्येत कस्मात् न सुखं न दुःखं ग्रहानिमित्तं सुखदुःखयोश्चेत किमात्मनोजस्य जनस्य ते वै ग्रहैर्ग्रहस्यैव वदन्ति पीडां क्रुध्येत कस्मै पुरुषस्ततोऽन्यः कर्मास्तु हेतुः सुखदुःखयोश्चेत किमात्मनस्तद्धि जडा जडत्वे देहस्त्वचित् पुरुषोऽयं सुपर्णः क्रुध्येत कस्मै न हि कर्ममूलं कालस्तु हेतुः सुखदुःखयोश्चेत किमात्मनस्तत्र तदात्मकोऽसौ नाग्नेर्हितापो न हिमस्य तत्स्यात् क्रुध्येत कस्मै न परस्य द्वन्द्वम् न केनचित् क्वापि कथञ्चनास्य द्वन्द्वोपरागः परतः परस्य यथा महः संसृतिरूपिणः स्यात् एवं प्रबुद्धो न बिभेति भूतैः एतां स आस्थाय परात्मनिष्ठाम् अध्यासितां पूर्वतमैर्महर्षिभिः अहं तरिष्यामि दुरन्तपारं तमो मुकुन्दाङ्घ्रिनिषेवयैव। श्रीभगवानुवाच निर्विद्य नष्टद्रविणो गतक्लमः प्रव्रज्य गां पर्यटमान इत्थं निराकृतो सद्भिरपि स्वधर्मात् अकम्पितो मुनिराह गाथां सुखदुःखप्रदो नान्यः पुरुषस्यात्मविभ्रमः मित्रोदासीनरिपवः संसारस्तमसः कृतः तस्मात् सर्वात्मना तात निगृहाण मनो धिया मय्यावेशितया युक्तः एतावान् योगसंग्रहः य एतां भिक्षुणा गीतां ब्रह्मनिष्ठां समाहितः धारयन् श्रावयन् शृण्वन् द्वन्द्वैर्नैवाभिभूयते। इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे भिक्षुगीतन्नाम त्रयोविंशोऽध्यायः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम, श्रीभागवत शरणं मम, श्रीसद्गुरुशरणं मम, श्रीसूत शरणं मम, श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम, श्रीव्यास शरणं मम, श्रीनारद शरणं मम, श्रीकुमार शरणं मम, श्रीब्रह्मा शरणं मम, श्रीविष्णु शरणं मम, श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम, श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम, शरणं मम, शरणं मम। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे, श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ॐ मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्ययं रसः अतः पिबन्तु सद्भाग्याः मामा मुञ्चदकर्हिचितो। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणमेकादशस्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ त्रयोविंशोऽध्यायः। द्विज उवाच। Saluting all the devatas, gurus wholeheartedly to be with us every moment and guide us to be on the higher righteous path of truth and reality. This is a prasanga where Bhagavan Krishna saying to all Yadavas, within 7 days the Samudra will take into itself the Dwaraka Nagari. We can't stay here. Let us go to Prabhasa Kshetra. Before that, all these children of Krishna, they did that natakam. Becoming very angry, the rishis have cursed them that the pestle or musala will be born, with which will become the entire kula nasha hetu of Yadukula. After this, then everybody in big all whatever vehicles or whatever, they have moved to Prabhasa Kshetram to be safe, because the Samudra is going to submerge the Dwaraka Nagari. At that time, Ekant mein Uddhav ji asks Krishna, we are so much addicted to you or habituated to you. How can I specially be without you? So don't leave me and go, or take me with you. That time Bhagavan started saying, it's impossible for both the things, that I take you with me or I stay back here with you. But there is a way by which such problem or question or dukkha never comes. What is the dukkha here to Uddhava? That Bhagavan is leaving him and going. Then what is the way that Lord never leaves you or He is always with you? Is discover the Lord as the truth. Discover yourself as the truth. So as the truth or the self or reality or Paramatma, you are never away from Him. He is never away from you. That is the way, and that is the only way. In fact, that gives mukti from all bondages. That's why this 11th skandha, in which to discover the self, what are the beautiful knowledge Lord Krishna is giving, which is the essence of all the Veda, Vedanta, Upanishad Granthas. This entire text is called a Mukti Skandha. So in that, each chapter was guiding us in so many ways. Now we are in 23rd chapter of this 11th skandha, where the Arthakama limitations were told, Dharma purpose is told, and moksha alone is the purushartha to be sought after, it is said. Other than seeking moksha purushartha, dharma is boring at one time, artha kama are binding again and again. Okay, then how to come out of artha kama? That was dealt in the earlier slokas by the story of this Dvija. Now, through again the mukha of the Dvija only, in fact, his own beautiful Geetam, Bhikshu Geetam, Bhagavan is teaching us three things. One is, world is not the cause of your Sukha Dukha. Point one. Two, your own mana is the cause of Sukha Dukha. Three, if you want Sukha, Dukha also will come to you. If you want to avoid Dukha, you have to give up Sukha also. Is there any such state where both Sukha Dukkha are not required or not there? Yeah, there is a state where you are atita both to the Sukha and Dukkha, where you are in your own Nitya Nirantara Atma Ananda Swarupa. So to reach to that Atma Ananda which is within you as your own self, you have to transcend the mind. Before that, you have to master the mind. Before that, you have to manage the mind. Before that, you have to control mind. Before that, we have to stop our slavery to the mind. And all of that is done only by a higher power than that of the mind, called as intellect, when it is equipped with a very strong, substantial, logical, example yukta knowledge. So my own intellect, when has got knowledge with the logic, with the authority of Shastra, with the authority of the Mahatmas, with the example, with that higher intellect, with its knowledge, my mind, which we said now is troubling us in so many ways, can be controlled, can be mastered, can be transcended to reach to a Atma Anubhuta Sthiti where there is no Sukha Dukha again. That means there is no more binding again, there is no samsara again. How samsara binds us with Sukha Dukha? It tempts us for the Sukha and pulls us towards it. It threatens us with the Dukha and makes us run. Therefore, we are always running towards Sukha, away from the Dukha. That continuous, constant, unstable running from one moment to other in time, or one day to another, or one century to other, one place to other in place, one day to the other, after birth, death and birth. This is called samsara, where we are not stably happy within ourselves. And what is the mukti? All these disturbances, runnings, all persecutions are transcended. You are in your own infinite blissful state. This is again given with the example of the running of the river starting from its origin, maybe in any of the mountain areas. When how long the running of the river continues? Till it merges in the ocean. Till it merges in the ocean, it can never stop running. Once it merges in the ocean, it can never start again running. It has becomes achala, nischala, ananta with the samudra, which is its own original being actually. River's original state is samudra only. Therefore, you and I, as all jivas, dehas, actually are the samudra like Atma Swarupa only. As a jiva, we only are running here and there. Don't run anywhere. Go toward your own self, recognize it, then all bandha ends. That's what the essence in the last few portions, sloka portion in the Bhikshu Gita, through the mouth of that great Bhikshu or Sadhu or that Satyasi or that Dvija, we are trying to learn. Now, each of these slokas have to be so deeply understood. If it is understood, then as we just now said, we will no more make the world enemy or friend. The world is friend because if world gives us sukha, world is enemy if the world is gives dukkha. So sukha dukkha are not given by world. Your world is neither enemy nor friend. Then what is the world? Only three things: for us to do dharma, for us to do the seva, and for us to recognize Paramatma in that. These are the only three things for which the world is in front of us. Try to imagine that state of mind where you are fixed in these three things. I am in this world to do my dharma, to serve the world, as well as to see the Lord alone everywhere. Now imagine in that mind, can there be any the problem creating, samsara creating, एनी ऑफ द राग द्वेष और काम क्रोध होएगा ही नहीं उसमें. This is how, through this wisdom or understanding, we get rid from all our bondages. In the beginning, it is difficult. It appears to be impossible. It is like, how can I be without raga dvesha? How can I be without the running behind the world? How can I sit with myself and be happy? So these are the things, questions will always come because we never understood or never tried. Like in today's world, how can I be honest? How can we be without taking some extra money? And like all youngsters, all many, how can I be without that drink or that drug or that friendship or that cell phone? All of us, we made so many slaveries, ourselves slave to so many things, after which we think, how can it be without that? In the same way, the state of being ourselves in the bliss is the most beautiful one because we are not exposed to that knowledge academically or even at home or in any of the society, social media, anywhere. Therefore, we think it is impossible, we think it is not required, we think it is an obstruction for our routine life of थोड़ा सुख ज़्यादा दुख चलने दो ये उसकी हमें जरूरत ही नहीं है. In that of mind we are conditioned. That's how so many shastras, so many gurus, so many satsangs required for any genuine serious student to decondition himself from all this. We are all doing that only through our regular study, deconditioning our mind from the wrong concepts of what is binding and what is liberating. For us, spirituality is binding, worldliness is liberating. But these are wrong concepts. The actual understanding is the worldliness is the one which binds us, spirituality is the one which liberates us. So that new understanding, correct understanding, Shastra gives us. Once we are convinced that this Preya Marga, this Shreya, Preya will be binding, Shreya is liberating. Those who are Mandamatis, Bala like, childish, they go for the Preya Marga. Only Dhira Purushas are the ones who choose the Shreya Marga. That clarity will come and we take up Shreyas. So to take up single, what do you say, continuously only the one path of Shreyas, the total conviction has to come to us about the glory of the Shreya Marga. In the path of that only, we are here to study Shastra, to listen to the Guru, to do the lot of Mananam, etc. So in that context, he started in this 43rd mantra as to none of the outer things are cause for your Sukha Dukkha, your own mana is the Sukha Dukkha Karanam. In that sequence, in the 48, 49 mantra, most important slokas, they are all, ki no greater sloka than this, in fact, uh, for us to understand and start our sadhana and get a strong hold in that. अब इसमें स्ट्रेंथ मिल गया हमको, बाकी सारे अपने आप होने लगते. What is that? मनोवशे अन्ये हि अभवन् स्म देवाः मनश्च नान्यस्य वशं समेति या भीष्मो हि देवः सहस सहियान् युञ्जाद्वशे तं सहि देव देवः. So each of the line has one or two points which are so nice to be noted and to be contemplated. Note them. First one, Manovashe Anyehi Abhavansma Devaha. If the mind is in our Vasha, all the devatas called Indriyas, Indriya Adhisthana Devata, they are inside us as Adhyatmika or they may be in the outer world, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika. All of them will be in our Vasha if the mana is in our Vasha. Point one. Second two, by nature, manaschana anyasya vasham sameti. Inherently, mind's power is so great that it cannot, should not come under the vasha of any of the world, any of the people, any of the indriya. But we only have never be attentive. We only have never made, we never understood this power of the mind. Therefore, we allowed it to be enslaved by other things, other beings. To such an extent that a small jada vastu of the world also is able to make my mind today nacho gao, and I identified with that mind. I am also naching and gaiing, which is not called for. Any example you take, it is particular, eatable or drinkable. If it is not there, I am not there. So, without that, I cannot be happy. Is my mind becoming vasha to that? And myself, without myself becoming happy in the mind, through that object is also empty, good for nothing. That sort of slavery I only gave to the mind. I became slave to mind. Mind is made by me to be slave to the world. Otherwise, in fact, in your reality, in your real capacity, if you understand, none of the thing in the world can enslave me, and mind can be my own subordinate. That's the meaning of second line. Manascha na anyasya vasham samit. Another meaning of this we said, you don't give your mana to anyone, they will only spoil it. In other words, you become aware of your own mind and make it its own vasha and make it so beautiful that it becomes your own greatest of the friend or the asset. This is the meaning of second line. Third one, when you are trying to attempt to really master the mind, it's being so virulent and powerful in its nature, it appears to be difficult, but it is not impossible. A wild elephant, a wild horse, a wild tiger, whatever they may be, they are huge, powerful, terrible, ferocious, very, very danger. But then when you keep on applying various techniques, is it not? The horse by the different beatings, the lion, tiger by showing it variety of fire, and the elephant by using the ankusha, they are all controlled. So, too, with many, 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 many techniques, the mind can be brought into our control. That should be the full focus before anything else in spirituality. Even in the world also, when the mind is to a relative extent controlled, he'll be a more better, decent, dignified guy, not creating problem to us and also to the world. That's why what he said here, Bhishmo hi devaha sasa sahiyan. Be careful. Never ever imagine in few days of effort that you have fully controlled the mind. No. This mind who is called Deva here, Bhishmaha, is very terrible fellow. Bhishma is terrible. Bhishma Pitamaha, who was Deva Vratam, has taken such a pratigna that I am not going to marry as well. I am going to dedicate my life entire for the protection of Kaurava Sena or Kuru Amsha. That great pratigna is Bhishma pratigna. That is why he was given that name of Bhishma Pitamaha. His actual name is Devavrata. So, Bhishmo hi Devaha. He is most terrifying and terrible is the mind. More Bhayankara than any of the Tufans. And then Sahasa Sahiyan. He is power. Saha means power. He is powerful than the powerful. Now that power, when you say here, don't imagine only one power of cyclone. Cyclonic power is so terrible, so dynamic, active, it appears to be outside. All the powers need not be such way terribly should come and act. Many of the powers will act in such a silent way that you don't even know it. Like the power of corona. It is a microscopic level of microbe it is. But you apply this point to that, it is सहसा सहीयान. उतना छोटा था वो अपने आप को इतना बड़ा नंबर करा के it has spread all over the globe that how many thousands lakhs are killed because of that. Imagine, not only the human beings are killed, but so many of the entire balance of the world is being disturbed. Is it not? The economy has collapsed, and then the international trading has collapsed. All whether pilgrimage or tourism, everything gone. People who are so much in the traumas and fears. Now, if you see all these, they are all consequences of the corona. So one corona brought all this means it is सहसा सहियान. देखने को छोटा है वो, कैसा उसने काम किया नहीं पता, लेकिन like that. In the same way, the mind finds its own hundreds of techniques and by which it enslaves us. And as we studied in other textbooks, the most powerful way by which the mind enslaves us is the mind quotes the Shastras. That's called the devil quoting the scriptures. You understand? And once the Shastra is quoted, we keep shut in our mouth. Thereafter, you can't like the child. When the mother says, shut up, don't watch the TV or cell phone, that fellow is such an easy weapon. But mommy, din bar you are doing the same. This mother cannot leave the TV or all that. She is defeated by one sentence of that fellow. He just says, you are on the phone only whole day. She's gone. See that fellow's intelligence. In the same way, mind has so much of cunningness, so much of variety of techniques it adopts to defeat also. Doesn't allow us to control it. It leaks out. And one of the reason for that is mana is made of the trigunas. Trigunas are maya. How powerful is that maya? Agatita gatana patiyasi maya. Is it not? In fact, that's why at a higher level, this mind, unless totally kept at the feet of Guru and God, it cannot be totally controlled. But to be controlled by the Guru, it should be offered to Guru. For that, it should be worthy. उतना करके हमको वहाँ रखना है. Like the child, you want to get him given good guidance by a Guru. So, before the Guru gives guidance, you just train that fellow little bit. बेटा ठीक तरह कपड़ा पहन लो और बिंदी चंदन भी लगा दो और वहाँ जाते पत्ता टेकना यू डू प्रणाम and then he will tell you listen carefully if you have any question you ask. So you prepared him. With his preparation, when he is sent there, then he sits with that Guru and Guru gives beta, this is what life, this is how you have to manage, it's your life, you are answerable, you are questionable. That's the simple thing in everything. All are our friends, nobody is our enemy. We only have to take care of ourselves. Okay, come to me anytime you need any help or guidance. The child is given direction once for the whole life. Say to some extent, when we quiet and control mind and put it in front of Guru God, then they manage the rest. That's one way. Okay. So Bhishmo hi deha sahasa sahyan. Now, as I told you in this sloka fourth line, there's a challenge thrown. Yunjad vashetam sahi deva devaha. Whoever brings the mind into his own vasha, he is God of all gods. He is master of all the masters. He is the higher, greater achiever. Therefore, in that there is a challenge is thrown as well as a possibility is told. It is not impossible, you can. But if you can make it possible, you are Deva Deva only. You become Deva of the Deva. Now, in this context, yesterday we spent 20 minutes. We will not spend that much. We will spend only 1 minute. All said and done, what is therefore the meaning of mind control means? First, understand what is mind. It is thoughts, it is emotions, it is projections, it is perceptions and responses. Okay, it has thoughts, it has emotions, it has projections, it has got perceptions, and it has responses. In all these five cases, when the mind is trained to be under the higher authority of the buddhi, which has knowledge of Shastra or the goal, that mind is called as fully controlled. Another way of mind control is thought flow of the mind is fully in our control in such a way, both all the three things of the quantity of the thoughts reduced, the quality of the direct thoughts is purified, and the direction to the thoughts is given. In our Gurudev's language, the quantity management of the thoughts of the mind, by which the control of the mind is achieved by Karma Yoga. The quality aspect of the thoughts of the mind, therefore, the mind is controlled and managed by the Bhakti Yoga, because in Bhakti, all the good qualities, divine qualities are brought. Then the direction to the thoughts of the mind, therefore, the control of the mind in that way is achieved by the Jnana Yoga. So, Jnana Yoga gives direction, Bhakti Yoga gives quality, then Karma Yoga reduces the quantity, means unwanted are totally eliminated. That's how in Karma Yoga sthiti of our life, whatever is to be done, that alone I do. Other than that, here and there I will not go. That's what Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharma Swanushtitat. Then all other things are avoided only from the mind. It is everywhere, not only in your duty, Dharma, whatever mother gave, I will eat that. If she doesn't give me, it means that we can't afford or I may not need it. Therefore, I don't ask. That is called a karma yoga on the dining table. On a birthday or someday, father gave you this clothes or that thing. Or he said, beta, is saal main khud de nahi sakta hu tumko. So, Papa said, he cannot give, doesn't matter, whatever I manage. I'll not ask. That is called karma yoga at home. Is it not? इन द ट्रैफिक में मुझे बताया इस डायरेक्शन में जाओ, इस तरह से रोड डाइवर्शन इज देयर, रोड एवर आर देयर, दैट इज आई एम फॉलोइंग, आई एम नॉट एट ऑल डूइंग एनीथिंग एक्स्ट्रा फ्रॉम माय साइड, देन unnecessary thoughts are gone. Karma yoga. In the office, These are the works given to me according to my position. Exactly, I am doing them. I have no business other than that. You are in Karma Yoga there. Is it not? This is my day schedule. This is what I have to achieve. Do that only and don't include anything, whatever temptation comes. That's called Karma Yoga. All of that. Is it not when you are fixed in your mind regarding your schedule or goal and discipline and all, there are no unnecessary thoughts. That's how through Karma Yoga, the quantity of the thoughts is reduced in this way. And through Bhakti, we said, always you're in the mood of Bhakti to the Lord. Lord alone is in the world. Therefore, you have the love, you have the respect, you have all the positive divine qualities only. That mind is beautiful. And opposite of it, I'm not saying because you understand it. What is the opposite of it? The mind which is not controlled in its quantity of thoughts with karma yoga, it will have millions of thoughts in it of every nonsense, which has no end. Second, also, if the mind is not trained in positive qualities through the prema or bhakti or value, then it will have such a negative qualities of total destructive in nature that becomes our own enemy. So, to the Jnana Yoga will give the direction because the Shastra Jnana indicates to us, Baba, the goal of mine is Paramatma. Therefore, always the thoughts direction towards me in studying Shastra, in trying to understanding them, and in trying to practice what is said there, reach the ultimate goal. So these are the few things regarding mind control. We have to understand what is mind, what is the meaning of uncontrolled mind, what are the problems when the mind is not controlled. Therefore, what is the definition of controlled mind? Then how to achieve that? A picture, if it is very clear and we focus on that, I tell you, we are doing the best not only to us but to the entire world. That is why a person in this way who systematically understands everything of this mana and brings it into control is called here as Deva Devaha. What an important thing. Then the next sloka gives such a pinch to all of us. I tell you, I'm not finding proper language or tone or humor or even sarcasm to how to put this meaning of this sloka. दो इट इज अंडरस्टूड इनसाइड बट कैसे बताएं कभी कभी मुश्किल हो जाता है वो माता सरस्वती का अनुग्रह हो जाए तो अच्छी तरह से वो पक्का पहुंच जाएगा आपको बट समटाइम्स मदर सेज यू डू मोर साधना देन ओनली आई विल स्पीक थ्रू यू इट इज हर चॉइस व्हाट इज हियर सी तम दुर्जयम शत्रुम असह्य वेगम अरुंतुदम तत् न विजित्य केचितो कुर्वन्ति असद्विग्रहम अत्र मर्त्यैः मित्राणि उदासीन रिपून अभिकुर्वन्ति मूढ़ाः. सो हियर क्या कहते हैं ना वो पेट टूटने की तरह हंसना, laughing so loudly as if your own stomach is getting broken, or laughing so loudly and sarcastically by that dvija or any of the wise person of that status. The simple meaning of it is this. Then the whole line meaning. Simple meaning was without controlling this mind, the stupid fools are making in the people the enmity with others and making some as friends, some as enemies, and in that life they are caught up throughout life. Vimudaha, fully deluded fools, mitrani udasina ripuna kurvanti. He is making the world as mitra and udasina and ripu into three categories, and also asad vigraha matra kurvanti, a meaningless, fruitless, purposeless vigraha, the kalaha, the quarrelous with the world, with the dvesha, whatever the means, he is creating. By not doing what instead of controlling mind. Means if you focus and control your mind, everything is your own expression of yourself or the God. There cannot be any binding differentiation in the world of ये कोई मित्र है कोई शत्रु है कोई मित्र नहीं कोई शत्रु नहीं इस जगत में. So all the Shatru Mitra are concepts made in the mind and we just follow them and miss such a many beautiful occasions and opportunities. Like you made somebody your Shatru. Then you never will get a joy of talking to that person, moving with that person, taking some help from for that person. एक बार शत्रु बना दिया तो सत्यानाश हो गया. So too, if you make a person as the mitra, then in how many ways he is using your time or energy or money, that also you want to understand. You just say मेरा ही दोस्त है. अरे युवा मेरा दोस्त है लेकिन कितना नुकसान कर रहा है तुम्हारा, वो भी देखो ना. Mitra creates loss to us, and Shatru, from him we get loss. We only get loss. He doesn't create. Don't we make all our near dear one Shatru? अब बात ही नहीं कर रहे उनसे अभी. It's in the mind only. See, when there's no need to talk, no need to talk. But when it is a need to talk, even then you don't talk means what? You have made somebody a Shatru and you are missing the joy of getting that benefit of all that. More than that, in your mind, so much of shatanam goes on in the mind. The moment that person is remembered, the peaceful mind becomes disturbed and all. And then once the mind is disturbed, the joy is gone. Whenever the mind is disturbed, you have failed. Because you have become dukhi. Dukhi is equal to fail, no? Failure. That person is somewhere, millions of miles away. But I remember and become miserable. Why? I created Shatruta with that person in my mind. सो अपना ही मन शत्रु है इफ यू कंट्रोल, अपना ही मन मित्र है इफ यू डोंट कंट्रोल, अपना मन मित्र है इफ यू कंट्रोल इट. विदाउट डूइंग दिस मेन जॉब, द वन हु इज मेकिंग द वर्ल्ड एज शत्रु मित्र इज विमूढ़. And this mind control, the 4 5 points are said: Durjayam, Shatrum, Asahyavegam, Aruntudam. These are the 4 things we have explained. Durjayam, it is not easy to defeat that mind because we made it strong from so many lives. Then Shatrum, again we said mind is neutral, but we only by not following the right means, by only wrongly feeding the mana, we made it as our Shatru. So Asahya Vegam, it with its power of Maya in it, in the expression of these 3 gunas, its Vega, its speed cannot be controlled by us only. It is so fast. Asahya Vegam. Then 4th one, Arun Tudam what? अब बताओ इस बात का क्या बताएं. The one who got kicks from the world, then got Vairagya, then made a discipline of life, then sticking to that. In that also the goal, God is made as goal. He is the only one, at least to some extent, he is freed from the arantudam of the mana, the persecution of the mana. Other than those rare few gifted souls are jiva, all of others are every moment are what is persecuted by the mind only. All these emotions are in the mind, the kama. Do you think we'll be peaceful when the desire comes? Krodha. Once the anger, wrath comes, greed when it comes, then the confusions when they happen about so many things, then the arrogance when it comes, when the terrible most of all called as jealousy when they come, each of them, are they not piercing our peace of mind into pieces? That is the meaning of Aruntudam. And all are in the mind only. Oh. And mind is so powerful that you need not have big issues to disturb yourself. With small thing, your child has not heard you, or he did not do this or that. हो गया अभी इतना mind को how many ounces of energy getting wasted? How much of the building of peace that is created through japa puja is collapsed in that one moment's thing. And with all that subtly, secretly, what the mind is doing, with all these uncontrolled way of reactions, it is giving spiritual problem. It is giving a reality to the world. Then what happens? Your entire struggle is to manage the world only. You forget to manage mind, you forget to manage the spiritual sadhana. सब वही कर रहे हैं, दिन भर सर्वेंट्स को मैनेज करो, बच्चों को मैनेज करो, पति को, पत्नी को, इन-लॉज हो, आउट-लॉज हो. This is called Arunthudam. Bhaiya, none of them are in your control. Every jiva has his own work to do. When they are related to you for some purpose, they come, you have some work, go there. More than that, you can't command anyone. You can't have authority on anyone. Not only you can't have, they themselves are struggling with themselves. How can they come under your control? But don't we do that? Throughout life, the only job is how to bring people into my control. That's why Jana Setu Nayam Jano me Sukha Dukha Hetu. That's the first sloka which is already discussed. Without understanding and quietening your mind, You only are making everybody a Shatru Mitra and suffering, my dear friend. In other words, the one who controls mind, he will not make anyone in control of the mind. Not only controlling it with japa and all the maturities come. Maturities play role. All those maturities belong to intellect. As we said now, uh, that the our own goal, okay, and the ideas of the prarabdha, individual and mutual or in total, and other people, their maturities, their immaturities, their ignorances, understanding them, ये सारे मिलकर मन को कंट्रोल करते हैं. इन सब के द्वारा नियंत्रित मन कभी किसी को न मित्र मानेगा न शत्रु मानेगा, सबसे प्रेम से मिलजुल कर रहेगा. That's what. So again, feel the meaning. ऐसे दुर्जय शत्रु असह वेग अरुंतु द मन न विजित्य, having not put attempt to conquer it, not conquering it, असत विग्रह मात्र कुर्वन्ति मर्त्य हैं. He makes enmity with all the people. This is one sentence. And also कुर्वन्ति मित्राणि उदासीन रिपून् विमूढ़ाः. So he creates vigraha means differentiation, and the differentiation leads to the enmity. And because they are enemy and his enemy is my friend, that way mitrani udasina ripun kurvanti. This is such an important topic, you know. Ah. And we try to analyze a little bit yesterday. It is my mind which has a kamana in it, which should not be. Because of that kamana, whoever the fulfills that one, I make it as friend. Whoever is thwarting that, I make that person as enemy. Person or thing or anything obstacle. And same person who was helping me in fulfilling that kamana, when stops fulfilling, the same person I call as enemy. देखो कितना नाटक मन हमसे करवा रहा है, कितना खुद नाटक करके हमको फंसा रहा है. At the highest level, the control of the mind is no sankalpa. And sankalpa rahita mana is no mana. And there is no mana, what is there is only Atma. Is it not? That's why in Gita, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tektva sarvan asheshatah manasaivedriya gramam viniyamya samantatah shanai shanai ruparamed. All these meditational techniques in chapter 6 start with this first only. Sankalpa rahitya. So, from dussankalpa to satsankalpa to the nissankalpa. What is the sankalpa of mana? Is it need not think. Fact is fact. See, there is one fact is Paramatma. The second fact is I am a jiva, I have to perform. What is there to think about? What is the sankalpa required? Any sankalpa are required, they are only to conduct whatever the work I have to do. Like I have to do the class. उसमें कोई संकल्प करने की जरूरत नहीं उसके बाद. In that conduction of class, whatever sankalp I have to do of studying the book, etc., I am involving in that. इसके अलावा बाकी मन को खिलाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. You not make it play. That's called controlled mind. That's the highest level. Huh? Like great masters like Gurudev and all, they are in that stage of conquering the mind. That's an instrument, it is brought into use, and whatever is been done, then it is just kept closed. Like pen निकाला, सब जो लेटर लिखना था लिख दी, बंद करके रख दी. उसी तरह मन को ले आया, काम किया, बंद हुआ. हमारा ऐसा नहीं है. Mind is ruling our kingdom. Pen is writing its own letter in our case. We are not using the pen to write. Mind is commanding. Mind कहते हैं अच्छा है मान ले तो, बुरा है तो मान ले तो. What are you talking? This is how this sloka. Now this one, deham manomatram imam gruhitva mamahamiti andadiyah manushyaha eshoha manyoyamiti brahmena durantapare tamasi brahmanti. Now from here, a very sublime topic of Atma and Atma Viveka is given. How you have to remain as the self and not allow entire not self which is projected the mind to disturb you. A very sublime topic. In fact, we have to contemplate deeply on every line, every sloka, so exhaustively. But we will see whatever we can do, whatever can be useful for us at this level of our evolution. So, what he says in this sloka, I'll tell in short this way. As we would just discuss it in the beginning of today's class and yesterday toward the conclusion also. What he said in this Pachaswa mantra is what? Ki in the world, how do we transact with These are mine, these are not mine. Now, these are mine, these are not mine. This differentiation, which leads to attachment, aversions, at that type of activity, that type of result, where are they starting from? First question we have to have. They're all starting from only when I consider myself as Dehoham. So after I am become Deha, only I become Jagrat Purusha. In the Jagrat Purusha, only as this Deha, I have all relation as this is mine or not mine. Means देह को सुख शांति देने वाले या देह से अच्छे संबंध रखने वाले like mother father, they are the givers of my body, therefore I have that type of love towards them. The children, they are born through my body, therefore they are mine. This person gives sukha to my body because he bought some gifts or anything. Deha means you can take indriyas also. The first dehatadhatmya with which they are mine, they are not mine is differentiated. Okay. Now, where the deha has come into picture? This is very sublime. Suddenly, Bhagavan is taking us into 30 kilometers up above the sky from one lower level to यहाँ जो भिक्षु गीत में द्विज का है. बट सुन लो, जितना पकड़ पाओ पकड़ो, नहीं तो नहीं है, नहीं पकड़ेंगे पक्का है हमको. What he said here is कि this deha is manomatram. This topic we touched yesterday. Pause here. Listen. Why? How you say that deha is manomatra? Two things. One, before this deha is given to me, whatever the sankalpa, vikalpa, kamanas I had in my mind, to fulfill which I have done lot of upasana puja. Because of that only this deha is given. Deha. Once the deha is given, it is only instrument. It is only, what do you say, for getting the sukha dukkha as our prarabdha, it is given to go through. Never ever it can be in mine or me. But again, in the mind only, the aham mama with the deha is conceptualized. So before the deha is given to me, it was my own sankalpa or kamana or karma, which are at the mind level, that led the Lord to give this deha to me. तो उस तरह से कॉज क्या है, ये देह मिलने का मन ही. ओके. देन वन द देह इज गिवन विद द मन, अहम मम भाव is also in the manogata. And what is the logic? If something is ours, it should be fully in our control, no? Actually, in this case, even the mind also comes. कोई चीज़ हमारा है, कोई कुत्ता आपका है, तो पूरा आपके कंट्रोल में होना चाहिए. वो पड़ोस के भाग रहे तो यू कांट कॉल योर कुत्ता. Which of the body's aspects we are able to control? बुढ़ापा, बीमारियां, आना जाना, को कौन सा चीज अपने हाथ में है ही नहीं है. Then how can you say it is mine? तुम्हारा है तो तुम्हारे कंट्रोल में होना चाहिए ना. नहीं है. It's only given instrument and we are only trusting to make right use of it. More than that, any relation with this body is manonirmita. Any relation with the body, and two relations only, aham and mama. And if it is aham and mama, ये हमेशा मेरे साथ होना चाहिए. When I am in dream, I am taking totally different body only. This fellow is lying only on the bed. In sleep though, neither this body is there, not that is there. हमारा है तो ले जाना चाहिए ना वहाँ भी. These are the things we have to very become. And the other side, as we explained yesterday, if I am not taking the topic, the Deha is made of Panchamahabhuta. Panchamahabhuta in their own sequence, they all came from the earlier, later four came from the Akasha. Akasha is came from the Mana only. Because Mana absence in sleep, the Akasha is not there. When Mana is present, then only concept of time, concept of space, which are interchangeable, they are born. And the space time produced are all these dehas. Panchamahabhutas, and from that the dehas. That's why science is helping us in this regard. When you try to trace the minutest part of the Sharira or any object or obstacle, it is found to be what? As a matter, nothing. But there is the concept of nothingness. Means from the nothing, the concept of the matter came. Therefore, matter is not real. It's only a concept. But to understand it, you have to be a very high level of intellectual person. Why? Because you are dealing with this solid, substantial matter so fully every day, taking it into such a reality. Suddenly, it's a break karke. There's no matter, it's all concept, it's only a mind. To come to that truth level, it is not easy. Not healthy also, not safe also in the beginning. आउटसाइड तो करना ही नहीं चाहिए वो मन में धीरे धीरे कर सकते देखो मजेदार बात है ना दिस बॉडी यू सी नाउ यू कैन सी द बॉडी एट द ग्रॉसेस्ट लेवल इफ यू आस्क अ साइंटिस्ट व्हाट विल से it has got flesh and bone and marrow and blood and vessels and flesh yes abhi that's what is found to him you'll see that only if you go to a physicist he'll say it's only the anu paramanu are there. If you ask a little philosopher, he say it is only a prarabdha. Prarabdha consolidated or solidified is the body. Another person you say, little higher, subtler scientist, physicist, he'll say body is nothing but energy. Little higher, if you say this is nothing but mind, even the spiritual person you say is nothing but atma. So, in this body, at this very moment, Atma is there in it completely, totally. Mind is there in it completely, totally. Energy there in it completely, totally. Prarabdha is there in it completely, totally. And bone and flesh and marrow are there completely. अरे इतने कैसे हो सकते हैं Is it not? इतने कैसे हो सकते हैं means what? It depends on your level of subtlety which defines the body. The ones who have developed the Atma Drushti, for them every Deha is Atma Swarup. When he has transcended or matterness on the seat of meditation, he finds everything in the self. So for him, self is touching the self. Self is feeling the self. Self is owning the self. जहाँ भी देखो आत्मा है No, that you and I cannot understand, but he spent many lives in that contemplation meditation and reached to that vision. That's called as Vishwarupa Arjuna was shown by the Lord. Or he told the Vibhutis, all he told that कि सब मेरे ही अंदर है मीन्स व्हाट मैं ही इतने रूप में दैट्स व्हाट in this very much so too in the same world what you see that's why it's called drushtim jnanamayam krutva pashet brahmamayam jagat अपने दृष्टि को ज्ञानमय बनाओ तो ब्रह्म के अलावा कोई है ही नहीं वो ज्ञान पाने के लिए ही निरंतर शास्त्र श्रवण मनन चिंतन एक्सक्लूसिवली जगद विलक्षण ब्रह्म ब्रह्मणोन्य किंचन ब्रह्मान्यत्वात् चिद विद्या यथा मरु मरीचिका श्री ईशावास्यम इदगम सर्वम ओम इति एतद अक्षरम इदगम सर्वम अरे सब ओम है ओम ब्रह्म है सब ब्रह्म है सर्वम खलु इदम ब्रह्म इज ऑल ब्रह्मन ओनली See, you are holding on to name and form. Therefore, you are caught up in Raga Dvesha and you are missing the Brahman. Okay? You drop the name and form and drop the Raga Dvesha and reach the Brahman. After reaching the Brahman, Brahman alone is in the form of this Ramarupa Jagata without Raga Dvesha. Then you are realized. But all that where it happens in your own contemplation, in your own deep analysis about सत एंड असत चित्त एंड अचित ये विचारणा करने करने से सूक्ष्म स्थिति में ये सब बात समझ में आती सो इन दिस श्लोक व्हाट इज सेड अगेन आई रीड फॉर यू देहम मनोमात्रम बॉडी इज नथिंग बट माइंड ग्रॉसिफाइड इमं गृहीत्वा एंड हाउ यू होल्ड ऑन टू दिस माइंड मम अहम मेरा देह मैं देह हूं इति एंड हु आर द वंस अंधधियः whose intellect is blindfolded because it is not deeply inquiring and analyzing. To such person, Deha is mama aham. And the one who is able to think, he knows I am seeing the Deha. Deha is seen, seen is Drishya, I am the seer, I am the Drashta. How can the Drishya can be me? See, to tell it, it's so simple only, but we have to digest that thing and remain in that always. Gata drashta, gatat vinnaha, deha drashta, dehat vinnaha. So, ham gatam pashyami, ham gata na asmi, mama gatam asti. So, to ham deham pashyami, deham mama na asti, ham deha na asmi. हो गया. But that intellect we don't bring. Why? Because we have a lot of vasanas, because of which, as a dehi, identify deha, lot of sukha pleasures of the world, we are entertained, enchanted in that. That's why the philosophy, spirituality is such a huge, well planned thing. पहले हमको आत्मा आनंद के महिमा बता के टेम्प्ट करेंगे, फिर इस देहेंद्रिय तादात्म्य में जगत में जो सुख बुद्ध दिख रहा है उसके अंदर जो दुख दिखाकर उससे हमको विड्रॉ करेंगे. Then after withdrawing, we are taken into the meditation and the truth and self is revealed to us. It's all a big exercise. The Guru Bechara will have to see that the disciple does it. A serious, sincere disciple, by being with Guru for many years, not one or two, 10, 15, 20, depending on his sharpness, slowly he will develop into these higher, deeper understandings. What I am saying here? Why this buddhi is not sharp enough to use itself in such a way to discriminate between jada chetana or drashta drishya and say jeha is drishya, I am the drashta, it is neither me, it's not mine. Why? Because of a lot of vasanas and desires. Therefore, you have to reduce vasana and desire, you have to find faults in the sukha and bhoga of the world, then you have to show to him the infinite bliss of the atma anubhava intellectually. Then only this person is slowly brought out from the tadatmya with the deha and with deha as a mama and aham. Then the real aham is discovered. आप सुनते रहो सुनते रहो सुनते रहो, कुछ साल बाद ये पूरे बात समझ में आते. In this sloka, what he is telling his own experiences, I consider this deha as me and mine, which is only concept of the mind. After becoming one with this deha as mind ahama, with this standpoint, I made some people are mine, some are not mine, and in that life only, the same important sentence is Brahmena, Yeshoham Anyayamiti Brahmena, Durantapare Tamasi Brahmanti. The person is Brahmati is wandering Durantapare in the endless Tamasi ignorance. We are totally wandering in the endless ignorance. So, ignorance of the actualities, facts, realities, truths. Entire life is in that only. अरे रुक के थोड़ा सोच यार. What is the reality? What is the truth? What is the position of the world? What is the position of Deha? What is the position of the Mana? What is the position of Atma? All this will be told to us in our Taittiriya Upanishad from tomorrow. From tomorrow, after a couple of days, when we slowly enter into first and second valley, Pancha Kosha Vivek Batate Hue, position of the every Kosha is told, then mixed, identify with all the Koshas is Jiva, Paramatma is other than, away from, beyond, untouched by, uncontaminated, unpolluted by all this Kosha, that is me. Now, where from the koshas came, where from the deha came, where from the whole world came? Only one example. Where from the snake came on the rope, from there only they all. फाइनली ये बात बार बार नहीं लाओगे ना, आपको वेदांत कभी नहीं समझ में आए. You were afraid of the snake, na? Yeah. But later on you realize, no, there is no snake. Yeah. You understood there is only rope. Yeah. Now from that standpoint, I'm asking you, where from the snake came on the rope? Is it not? Neither it did not came from there, no rope, nor it came by its own self. It has come only in your own ignorance of the rope. So too, in the ignorance of yourself only, the entire world came. That's why when you discover the self, the entire world is discovered to be the self, not other than the self to be identified either with raga or dvesha. Raga dvesha rahita aham swarupena jagat drishyate atma anubhava anantaram. Clear? After knowing the self, The world is seen as my own self, my own extension, without specific raga to something, dvesha to other thing. All are my children, so no raga dvesha, but common love to all. Everything is my own self, so no raga dvesha, common love to all. That is the experience of a Jivan Mukto. So where from the snake came? In the same way, and it appeared so real. When you were afraid of it, you took it so real, but it cannot be snake and it may be a rope. ये thought भी नहीं आता उस समय. Now pause little on this example, especially this topic. That when I am seeing it as snake, and I am afraid of snake so much that it may not be the snake, it may be the rope. That thought will never come till somebody who has seen the rope as rope comes and tells. Even if he comes and tells, he has to struggle so much to convince us because हमको जो दिख रहा है हम उसी को सत्य मानते हैं. मुझे तो स्नेक ही दिख रहा है. In the beginning तो you will not believe only. But that fellow says तो मर जा तो मेरी बात नहीं मानो. If that fellow goes away, then you will hold on to it as snake and suffer only. But that person if is kind enough, he says बेटा ऐसी बात नहीं है. ठीक है मैं मानता हूँ स्नेक है. चलो जाकर परखते हैं, जांचते हैं, देखते हैं. He will take all the pains to see that. He proves to us there's only rope, there's no snake. That's called a kind, compassionate guru. There's no snake. In the same way, there's no world. Remember, there's no snake other than the rope. Rope is harmless, snake is harmful. There is no world other than the self. World is harmful, self is harmless. In the ignorance of the rope, the snake came. In the ignorance of the self, the world came. In the knowledge of the rope, the snake goes away. In the knowledge of the self, the world goes away. But to pursue the rope, the fears for the snake, for the time being, you have to keep away. And you have to listen to the one who is seeing the rope and trying to show the rope. So to further knowing of the self as self, for some time, keep away from the world, freed from raga dvesha, and listen to what he says, the entire Vedanta. Then, how much ever he tells is not a snake or rope, final fear goes away only when I experience rope as rope. It is my responsibility. With whatever the things, you touch it or put it in your gala, you be Guru. So too, with all the data given by Guru, guided by Guru, it is me only on my seat of meditation. I have to discover myself. Then I find there is nothing called as anything other than the self to be attached or to be aversion about. कोई चीज़ मेरे अलावा है ही नहीं तो किसके प्रति राग करूं किसके प्रति द्वेष करूं. See, for anatma only there is raga dvesha possible, and because of raga dvesha only there is samsara possible. ठीक है. But there is no anatma because sarvam atma, sarva kala brahma. Therefore there is no anatma. How can there be raga dvesha? When there is no raga dvesha, how can there be samsara? ध्यान रखना इस बात को. राग द्वेष when I say include all other emotions. काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद मात्सर्य ईर्ष्या द्वेष राग असूया सारे set. They all are possible in the anatma. But anatma is not there. You discover it. This is how this Bhikshu Geetha is trying to help us. Up to this, he told problems are not there in the world, they are in the mind. Now he is taking us to a further step of how to de-identify with the mana and mana janita vishwa and identify with the self. And abhyasa is given in the next 6 or 7 beautiful slokas. One we will tell you today, one or two, you will get an idea. And remember, anything of spiritual will not happen in one day. Nirantara abhyas you have to go on doing. Like a yoga asana. If you do one day, you won't master it. Minimum each asana takes 6 months for you to master it, after which it starts giving you the health or benefit. Which is the thing which just comes overnight, बताओ. फिर बार बार करना पड़ता है. मीन्स वाट जग ना हम देहोस ऐसा कहने से नहीं होता. 24 घंटे यू हैव टू डू दैट. हम ब्रह्मास्मि एक बार कहने से नहीं होता. 100 times you have to. The whole world is created by the projection of mind. ऐसे एक बार से नहीं होता. Again and again, again and again. So to this is a guru, I have to surrender to him. God, guru is expression of God only. ऐसे लिख के देने से नहीं होता. 24 घंटे you have to be in that smriti that God alone came in the form of Guru. Guru Saranagati takes me to the God. When I reach the God, Guru God me all are one. नहीं होता एक बार, याद रखो इस बात को, ऐसे एक बार करके छोड़ना मत लाइक सम ऑडियंस एक क्लास में आके चले आते हैं. दैट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. एवं निरंतराभ्यस्त निरंतरम ध्यानम चरम नित्य निरंतरम मुनेः. Okay, one sloka today we touch. Janastu hetuh sukha dukkhayoschet kimatmanastatra hi bhaumayostata jivam kvachit sandashati swadadbihi tadvedanayam katamaya kopyet. So, okay, now I am coming to your level of these are the cause of dukkha. Okay. When I am coming to your level of accepting what you say as this cause of dukkha, I am putting you in a new way of direction of thinking. What is that? These people are causing dukkha. Okay, to whom? To whom? Answer is to the upadhis only. And who are you? Not the upadhi, you are the self. So, if some upadhis are troubling other upadhi, why are you getting caught up? उससे तुम्हारा संबंध ही नहीं है. This is called as trying to become detached from all upadhi and becoming atmanishta, which is not as easy as spoken or said now, but that's the technique adopted in the entire next 8-9 shlokas. अगर तुमको लगता है ये कारण है दुख के लिए, हाँ, दुख वो किसको दे रहे हैं? उसी लेवल के एक उपाधि को दे रहे हैं. यू आर नॉट दैट, यू आर आत्मा. इन एवरी श्लोका किम आत्मनः किम आत्मनः किम आत्मनः विल कम. किम आत्मनः मीन्स व्हाट फर्क पड़ता है टू योर रियल सेल्फ द आत्मा. By saying so, what is done? The jiva who was identifying with the upadhi, therefore suffering the modification of upadhi, is devalued in this. Or he is pulled his identity from the upadhi and upadhi modification, and his identity is established with Atma. So how to put it pictorially or like a mono-acting type? I, the jiva, identifying the upadhi, was suffering the modification of upadhi. Now, de-identifying the upadhi, I, the jiva, am identifying with the Atma in me. Atma is always detached from the upadhi. Therefore, anything happens to the upadhi, it is not happening to me. Means what? When anything is happening in the upadhi, there is no suffering jiva allowed to get projected. It is in our choice. You can remain as Sakshi Atma or you can become the identified jiva and suffer. All of us are identifying and suffering our own jiva bhava. But through Viveka Vicharana, by developing that Sakshiva, etc., we detach our identity. The moment the identity is detached, the dukkha will no more trouble us, whatever happens to upadhi. Like example of scooter car, how many times we gave? Little चोट आ गया कार को, इतने दुखी होते हम. मेरा कार है, कैसे तुम? अब मानो बेच दिया उसको. When you sell your car today, tomorrow it is got accident when you bought somebody. You say, you celebrate, शुक्र है यार मैंने कल बेच दिया. You understand? You have detached from the car, then whatever happens to the car, you don't become a car. You are a sarkar now. Then the owner of the car was the jiva, the sakshi of the car is the atma. Now, do you mean to say, Swami, I have to sell everything? No. Don't become the owner, be a sakshi. What is the meaning of sakshi? When the car gets any kharoj, बात करो उस बंदे को, बोलो भाई ऐसा नहीं करना, ठीक रहो और रिपेयर कराओ. These are all the dharma to be done. और मेरे कार को कैसे तुमने ऐसे छोड़ लगा? These are all called samsara. Don't bring that मेरा वाला idea. तो मेरा मेरा मैं जो मई और मोर तोर तय माया, उसको आने नहीं देना. Then you understood the philosophy. You understood the Vedanta. So here he says, Janaha tu hetu sukha dukkhayoschet. If you say sukha dukkha ka hetu jana hai, jana means the human beings, their body, they're beating us. He says, Kim atmanah chatra, atmanah atra. What does it affect you, the real self in you? Bhaumayoha tato. Means the modification of Panchamahabhuta is that jana, and the modification of same Panchamahabhuta is this deha. तो इसको दे रहा है तो तुम्हें क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है? You be separate from it, no? Which is so tough. But once you can achieve this, no, you will never be feeling suffering because any inflictions given by some other deha to this deha. But because I have become jiva by identifying this deha, therefore this is my deha, it should be safe and secured, it should not be pained. And that fellow is other body, therefore that body troubling me is this body, therefore that is Shatru and he is troubling my deha. So that body troubling this body as a natural phenomena happened. But I, a jiva, has suffered because this I considered as mine. Because I considered this as mine, that became not mine. And because of that, that person's beating has become my own beating. Beating to me. That's what he gives the example. Ki jihvam kwache sandashati swadadbihi. See, when the many times it happens, our own teeth bite our own tongue. Vedana is there or not? Yeah, Vedana to hai. But do we become angry? Pain will be there, but angry jiva, anger will not be there. Why? Because the biting teeth is me, equally the bitten tongue also is me. So there, what is to be done here in sadhana? Either accept the beating body also, your own expression in some form, or reject this body also that it is not mine. Then in both cases, you are freed from sukha dukkha. You will not be affected by that. So here, if you consider some other person or deha is cause of your sukha dukkha, how to withdraw from that? The technique or training or initiation is given here. In this, what's happening? As I said to you, the one who identifies with deha and suffers the pangs of deha, called as jiva, is slowly reduced in his value. And who is brought in his place? The Atma Vastu. What is the Atma? It is not touched. Kim Atmanaha, Kim Atmanaha, Kim Atmanaha. So there is a self in me who is only a Chaitanya Swarupa, in whose presence things may happen, but it doesn't get affected. Means what? All these, how many times he might have contemplated that Dvija, especially when the Jana people were humiliating his body. He tried to protect his body from them. He could not because they are persecuting so much, because it was not in his control. When you can't control the other body, then what to do? You detach from this body, then मार लो मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? That Vedantic achievement he achieved. Pakka. That's what the meaning of here. Bhaumayoho tatu. This also is equally not me, like that also is not me. So he has practiced that Sakshi Bhava of himself with the Deha, that somebody is insulting that Deha, he is not identifying with it. Well, he gave the example of Dashana and Jihva. And another example in this is what extension of example. When the teeth has bitten the tongue, so much pain it is. कभी 2 दिन तक खाना भी नहीं खाते हैं. But same tongue बेचारा goes in between all the 32 teeth and keeps on removing all the food particles that are there. Is it not? आप अपने टंग को घुमाते हुए कुछ भी फंसाए तो निकालते हो कि नहीं? More than that, food can be digested only when it is properly chewed. Chewing is done by the teeth. Teeth cannot move from there. Who is supplying the food to the teeth continuously? Is it not the tongue? If the tongue and teeth are different, then the tongue will complain a case saying that he is that what is the English word used? Court में कहते हैं ना, the legal language is unprovoked. What is that word used? He has just unprovokingly from my side has bitten me. So here, Lord, I request you to break these 12 teeth which have given me the pain. You can apply दांत ने मेरे को चबाया मतलब चोट पहुंचाई, इसे दांत को तोड़ो. Have you ever seen the tongue complaining to the somebody authority to say that break the teeth? No, it forgives. Not only that, it helps. What if you can understand the logic there? What is logic? I alone am in the tongue, I alone am in the teeth. So in this Deha also is me, in that Deha also is me. Or if I am not in that Deha, don't say it also Deha. Because both are Bhaumayoho. Break that shackle. That this Deha is mine. How? What is this Deha made of? Panchamahabhuta. What is this made of? Panchamahabhuta. अब दोनों एक ही है तो एक तरफ मैं वाला ममता उसके ऊपर नहीं मैं वाला. This is what is Maya. And this has to come into the mind. Such very strong knowledge should come. या कहो कि एक देह दूसरे देह को मार रहा है, मेरा कोई संबंध नहीं. या कहो मैं ही मुझे मार रहा हूं. In both cases, the infliction will not touch you. It will not trouble. That is what Bhaumayoho tat jihvam kachiti sandadashri sadadbihi tad vedanayam katamaya kupyet. Now, all this is based on what is said in the earlier shloka. First basic thing that all our samsara begins with aham dehosmi. And it will continue as long as aham dehosmi. And samsara will end only when I discover naham dehosmi. And that is achieved by these practices. सारा संसार जागृत अवस्था में देह के कारण ही तो है ना. अब देह कभी भी मैं नहीं हूं, मेरा भी नहीं है, मुझे दिया गया. और वो क्यों दिया गया? प्रारब्ध. वन ऑफ द प्रारब्ध इज अदर फेलो हैज बीटन यू. यू मीन्स योर बॉडी. See, in the prarabdha, if somebody has to beat this body is there, it will happen. Even if a saint says, "Oh, कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो." He is inside detached from all that. See that Parikshit snake has bitten. क्या क्या है तो बड़ा philosophy है समझना है. There's some beautiful thoughts are there in this. In this way, one by one thing is taken up and told to us. If this is the cause, how to deal, how to deal, how to deal. Like that, our detachment from all upadhis is made to be achieved. So to our identity with the true self. Thus, once for all, we are liberated from all the gross and subtle. This is the meaning of Bhikshu Geetha. Some 8-9 verses are there. In a day or so, we will see. Thank you, Krishna Arpanam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hello. Let us enter into our Hanumanji's Jivan Charitra today in Valmiki Ramayana. Om Namo Namo Namah Shivaya. Om